Can Christians go to clubs and parties? Bars, clubs, house parties. Finally going to talk about it because I've been asked to talk about it for a really long time. It's one that I really never wanted to do, just because this is one of those topics where I'm just like, I don't know, can you? And I want to tell you why, because this is a topic that can't just be answered by one person. And I think it's sad because it's also a topic that I think is answered most commonly just by one person if they're asked. It's a bigger theological puzzle here. Do you think drinking is a sin? Do you think being around alcohol is a sin? Do you think dancing is a sin? Do you think secular music is sinful? Do you think dressing away that many people at clubs or parties dress is a sin? And do you think being around people who are dressed like that is a sin? A club has a lot of different things going on. So does a house party and so does a bar. But if you answered yes to any of those things, if you think they're sins, then it's probably not something you should be doing. I don't think so, aside from maybe the dressing like a hussy part. But then again, even then, I'm not responsible for how people dress. So as long as I'm dressed appropriately, whatever that means to me, and I hope it would be pretty similar across the board as far as Christians are concerned. Modestly-ish. Modest enough. If I'm within that realm, then it's not my fault if some dude or girl is dressed like an idiot. It's not on me. So I can still go to a club, I can still go to a party, and I can still go to a bar. Because what I do at those places, as long as I'm not doing something that would be considered sinful, then what is wrong with those environments? This is again one of those topics where I'm going to say whether you should or shouldn't is entirely contingent upon what your intentions are. What are your intentions of going to a club, party, or bar? Why are you going? What's your purpose? Are you going to hit on girls who are half drunk? That's wrong. Are you going just to dance and hang out with your friends? That would be fine. Are you going to get drunk, look and act like an idiot, and make a fool of yourself and whoever you come with? That's probably not okay within a Christian context. Are you going to have a few drinks and some conversation? I would say there's nothing wrong with that. So I hope you get what I'm trying to paint here, is that clubs, parties, and bars are not the problem. We are the problem. So if you are a problem, doesn't matter if you're at a club or at a church or at an Arby's, even though it's disgusting. Regardless of where you are, it's not where you are that's problematic, it's what you are doing there that could be problematic. You are not responsible for anybody but yourself. So you can be in a club doing something stupid and that's on you. You can be in a McDonald's and do something stupid. You could do the same thing that you do in a club in a McDonald's, and regardless of which one you're in, it's still not okay within a Christian context. It doesn't matter where you are, that's what I'm trying to say. Clubs, bars, and parties are not sins. What you choose to do at one of those places could be considered a sin. So as long as you refrain from doing anything stupid or that would be considered sinful, then there's nothing sinful about going to a club, party, or bar. If your buddy wants you to go rail some Molly off a car key in the bathroom, say no. If you've already had a couple drinks and you want to keep drinking, probably don't. If a guy or a girl you don't know starts grinding their hot, sweaty, half-lit, half-drunk body all over your crotch area, say no. You don't want that. Believe me, you don't want that. Move on. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. It's pretty clear. To me, it's pretty clear, so I hope it's just as clear to you. What you do can be sinful, so don't do anything that's sinful. Just like you wouldn't do it at home, you wouldn't do it at Arby's, you wouldn't do it at McDonald's, you wouldn't do it at school, and you wouldn't do it at church. You can rail coke in the church bathroom, the same way you can rail coke in a club bathroom. It's your choice. Just because you're in a club doesn't give you permission to do it. That's my point. That's what I'm trying to say. So I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down here. So what are your intentions? Are you going acting like a good Christian boy or girl in a way that when you're there knowing that the God who saved your life is watching literally every little thing that you do? Then you're fine, and I wouldn't worry about it. Are you, the minute you enter a club, acting like everybody else in the club? I'm not gonna say it, but you probably already know. If you wake up the next morning and your friend has to tell you that Jesus just watched you take 6 shots, drink 2 beers, run a line of coke, and then stumble out the club, break one of your heels, your top rips in half, and some dude has to place you in the back of an Uber car, you're gone too far, kid. You gotta reel it in. That's an extreme case. But extreme or even subtly sinning, it's the same. So if you don't have self-control, if you just can't behave yourself in a setting like that, or if you have a history of doing stupid things in settings like that, then avoid it. It's called self-control, it's called self-awareness, and it's something that you need to learn to do as a Christian trying to behave in a different way than you were before. It's learned, it's not something you just pick up magically as a Christian. Jesus doesn't just sprinkle self-awareness dust all over your new created body. You gotta learn it and practice it, and sometimes it takes time, and sometimes it takes a long time, but it doesn't need to. So just realize it, be self-aware. If you shouldn't go there, don't go. If you can and you can behave yourself, I go to environments like that pretty often. My wife works in a bar. I have no issue with it. She has no issue with it. I know people who do, and they avoid it because they're trying to be good. So it's just be self-aware. That's really all it is. Now, as far as ministry is concerned, I do have a very solid opinion in that I don't think the church should stay out of those environments. And it seems to, probably a good 80% of the time. I think clubs, bars, and parties are some of the best places for ministry if you go in with the intention of doing ministry. It's a great place for Christians to be because people who don't know that you're Christian will hear you talk, they'll see the way you act, and they'll probably interact with you because people are drinking. It makes people more confident. Therefore, it gives you the opportunity to display Christ to somebody who maybe has never learned anything at all about God. I think a lot of times people who grow up in the church especially think that people just know about God and they just reject Him. That's just not true at all. Especially in this generation, man, like people grow up not being taught about God whatsoever. Within a secular home, they know nothing about God. The idea of God, all they know is that it's not true because their parents say it's not true. And those people hang out in clubs, bars, and everything like that just like anybody else. So it's your opportunity to display something that they don't really understand, but they're intrigued to understand, and because they've had 2 beers, they're gonna ask you about it. Why do you act that way? Why'd you just say that to him? That's your opportunity to open a dialogue and be something for someone that they may have never had before. If you are a Christian who refuses to take the light that is you under Christ into a place that is dark, it's my firm belief that you are stifling the gospel. Church people who only hang out with church people at church-related events are the reason my generation and the next generation are calling Christianity a cult instead of a religion or a faith. It's more commonly being called a cult than I've ever heard before. Why? Well, because we only hang out with each other. That's culty. We think we're the best. We think we're above other people, so we only hang out with each other. I only have Christian friends. We only go to church events. God, don't go to clubs. Oh, it's dirty. That's of the world. It's of the world. You're a cult. That's a cult. You're acting like a cult. The Great Commission says to go out. It says go out and make disciples. Not go to different churches and disciple people further. It says go out and make disciples. Go out to clubs and make disciples. Go out to parties and make disciples. Go out to bars and make disciples. Go out where church people are not. That's what That's what you're called to do. Jesus wasn't telling the apostles to go hang out with other people who already believed that he was the Messiah. He told them to go hang out with people who did not. So that's what you're supposed to do. That's what we are supposed to do. Get out of the church. Go to a club. If it's not a problem for you, go to a club. But don't do anything you're not supposed to do. I'm not condoning you doing stupid stuff in a bar. I'm saying if you have self-control, which I would hope that you do, you are called to go places where Jesus is not. I'm not saying bars, clubs, and all that stuff are the only place you should go. But within this topic, I'm saying it's a good place to go. If you can control yourself, it's an amazing place to perform ministry, to do ministry. So do it. Even if the person you're discipling and talking to gets up, goes to the bathroom, does a big old line of coke, comes back, if they keep talking to you, that's a win. You get around to building a relationship with somebody who obviously doesn't know Christ. That's what you're supposed to do. Just don't follow him to the bathroom to do coke and you're in the clear. That's the distinction. So whether you're going just to have a good time with friends or you're going specifically for a ministry, you're good as long as you behave as a Christian should anywhere they go. That's no different. Now I will say, to appease all the nitpicky people, that no matter where you go, you should always be doing ministry. And that's true. It's absolutely true. Every minute of every day should be ministry. You should always be trying to disciple with people, always trying to build new relationships, talking to people, and sharing the gospel. True. Is it reality? Probably not for most people. Sometimes you just go do stuff because. When you're playing PlayStation, you're not doing it to the glory of God. You're just not. Especially if you're beating up a hooker in Grand Theft Auto or something. It's just not. So you should always be doing ministry. True. Sometimes you just want to go out with your friends, period. To relax, to hang out, to blow off some steam, whatever. As long as you behave knowing that Jesus is literally watching you, you're fine. So don't worry about it. That's all I got. If you liked the video, please like it. If you haven't already, subscribe. Find me on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. If you're really into theology above what a normal person is, go to theologyforums.com. We have very in-depth theological conversations. That's really all I got. I don't know what I'm doing next. I'm gonna let people vote on it again because I did this one without letting people vote just because I got sick of seeing it on the list. So I'll post the list again this weekend at some point and you all get to choose what the next one is. I'm working with another guy on starting the Catholic, what is now a series. It's gonna be a series on why I disagree with Catholicism, and I'm gonna be more specific now after a couple conversations. It's why I disagree with Catholic doctrine and the Vatican, not why I disagree with what you might be taught in a normal Catholic church, because there is a difference. There really is a difference, which is bizarre, but there is. So it's why I disagree with the Vatican and Vatican Catholic doctrine, what is on the Vatican websites, not what you're taught in church if you're a Catholic. It might be, but it might not be too, you never know. So that's that. We're working on that. It's gonna be a series now instead of just one video, but it should be interesting. And I'm probably gonna interview a priest on video. So that would be good too.